It's great radio. We are the people of Mercury. I am your interplanetary host, Travis Montgomery. These views reflect one planet and one planet alone. Welcome to Mercury's Cast. I am your host, Travis Montgomery. Tonight is a Free Topic Friday. We got two people in my co-pilot that I love very much. Mr. Alex, who seems to be here ever so frequently. Why don't you say what's up to the people?
What's up to the people?
I predicted that one. And then Sean, my main man for like 30 years. How are you doing tonight?
I'm alive.
We are live. Just like Shakira said. Sean, I remember you were the first one that told me about Shakira. And for some reason, that song Empire. And when you said I'm alive. So what was your obsession with Shakira back in the day? Because you were like really obsessed with her.
I was never.
So I want to hear it.
I was never obsessed with her, but have you seen her move her hips?
They don't lie.
I don't give a fuck what they do. Have you seen them move?
Yeah.
She could tell me 2 + 2 is 5. I don't care.
She could probably totally explode a watermelon with those hips.
So you guys aren't into math, apparently. All right, cool. Well, we're taking a break from the race relations and all this controversial stuff. Maybe.
No, we're not. You say that now.
Oh, wait till you get to the Would You Rather. That shit's going to be super controversial.
Well, I don't know if you heard the last one, but I mean, we're going places. I feel like we're reaching some areas that most Facebook threads don't get to.
Or if they do, suddenly there's racial slurs being thrown.
Yeah, or I mean, I guess the big thing is that once you leave a conversation on Mercury's Cast on Facebook and Twitter, be sure to like the page. Once you leave a conversation on Mercury's Cast and stuff like that, you don't feel. I feel like you're not angry and that we reached a certain place. And a lot of times when you find some kind of common ground on a Facebook thread that you leave, and maybe I'm guilty as I am the most guilty as charged because I keep going on and on and on. But now I'm just like, hey, why don't we talk about this in real time? Because this is too time consuming. There's too much emotional involved. I feel like the internet thread is the worst platform to have a conversation, a controversial conversation where people might get hurt. And, and a lot of people, like I said, they have their own circles on social media, so they don't have a lot of opposing opinions on their posts that they put up there. That's not how the rest of the world works. So anyway, Sean, how are you doing? Sean, we're good to catch you on this Friday night. I think Friday free topic nights kind of should be designated for you for whenever we want to have you on. Let's just have a free flow with Sean. I think that's probably where you thrive a little bit, right?
Sure.
So was that a loaded question?
Or is that just two loaded people asking questions?
What's this technical shit you want to talk about? I know you heard this.
Come at me, bro.
Go ahead.
I heard this.
No.
All right, interrupt me one more time. 3, 2, 1. So I heard this. No, I really wanted you to interrupt me. God damn it! It sucks.
Don't touch it.
Oh, touch it. Touch it.
Oh, Ivanka.
Oh, Melania.
When you show her your Trump Tower and she says, "Deport me, baby."
All right. God damn it. No, I'm going to have to cut all that out. Anyways, all right.
You're going to win some fucking awards with this one.
So, Tech Talk. Today's discussion's on VR.
Shit sucks.
Well,
I had an interest. I read something very interesting though, and I feel like it's a little bit to the side of, or it's an aside to what you've got to say, Travis. But it is interesting nonetheless. What they've done is they've developed VR. It like surpasses normal VR in that it's far more tactile. What it is they've basically combined next generation VR technology with next generation fleshlight pocket pussy technology.
oh, Melonia.
So basically, imagine like interactive porn in which you're in the porn.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been talking about that for like 10 years.
Well, now it's happening.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, and I'm saying like they're using like they're using high-end servos, decent chipsets. I doubt that they're running these things on like Raspberry Pis or anything like that. But like they're basically perfectly simulating the movements depicted in
I want to run it over every Raspberry Pi I can get my hands on. What are you talking about?
Raspberry Pi would have plenty enough power to do that.
But it's regardless. I doubt they're using the Raspberry Pis. I've fried 3 of the things already. So, and it's partially because I'm really shoddy with soldering iron, but
Or you just masturbate way too much.
Or that too. But I just thought that was an interesting VR breakthrough, in that now you can get a perfect 1-to-1 ratio for thrusts, equating for the size of your schlong.
Well, what brought me to this topic was in 2014, Mark Zuckerberg approached all of his shareholders that have invested in his company and told them that he's investing a lot of their money into the new VR world. This was 2014, and you can see the technology. It's kind of exploding right now. Pretty much what he was saying back then is that, like, you know how there's these technological advances like the mobile phone or the internet or whatever. He seems to think that the next big thing is going to be augmented virtual reality. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the difference is between virtual reality and augmented reality. I know that you can put on a headset and then do these things. And then I also know that you can put on a headset and like go through a maze and stuff like that. So would that be
virtual reality is when you're looking at a screen for something that's completely not in front of you. Augmented reality is when you're looking at something that's in front of you, but something's being superimposed on top of it. Like that Pokemon Go game. You look through your phone, the camera shows you what's in front of you, but then it superimposes like a Pokemon on the ground.
Unless of course, you had one of the majority of phones that they didn't actually cover. So in which case you were just playing on your cell phone, because that was a huge flop for augmented reality. But I digress. Continue.
So if Mark Zuckerberg is willing to put this much effort into and what he did was buy the technology of the headset.
He
so
bought
now
Oculus.
I guess that's all his.
They bought Oculus Rift.
Oh, they bought Oculus?
Oculus Rift.
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Well, that's some primo VR
3 years
tech.
ago now.
Yeah, it comes with a
it was on a TED
price
Talk.
tag, too.
I heard it on a TED Talk, and I heard him explaining to pretty much his big shareholders on why he's doing this. Is that
you know what else
No more.
You know what else I heard in a TED Talk though, right? I'm up here in the Hollywood Hills.
Yes, I'm sure
with my Lamborghini. I got these 7 bookcases.
That motherfucker.
Yeah, he had a TED Talk too, didn't he?
I don't know. TED is some bullshit.
You pay to go on TED.
Well, even if you don't pay to go on, you don't get paid to be there.
And Fuckerberg has plenty of money to pay for a TED Talk.
The thing about
I'm honestly surprised that Zuckerberg has the time to be doing all this shit when he's personally sifting through Facebook, blocking all my posts.
The thing about virtual reality, dude, is it's going to be a major platform one day, but I don't think it's going to be the next major platform. I think it's just got too far to go.
I see it being the next 3D TV. Yeah, there are 3D TVs. They exist. Who uses them?
I have one. I fucking hate using it.
Yeah, in his talk, he was saying that they're gonna have that where you can touch shit. You know, imagine a world
Clothes.
where you can.
Dude, the thing is that like the Oculus style of virtual reality, I kind of don't think it's like where you have to wear a headset like that. I don't think it's ever going to.
If they could condense the tech down really, really, really powerfully, like, you know, if it was just like wearing a pair of glasses, it'd be different.
Well, have you seen that? What is that thing called? Magic Leap?
No.
Magic Leap, it's a pair of glasses you wear. They're just regular looking glasses or whatever, but there's a projector that projects onto your eye.
Oh,
so
yeah, kind of like when I was growing up, my mom told me, don't sit too close to the TV. You're going to hurt your eyes, and now we're just projecting images straight into the fucking eye.
yeah, basically.
Not cool. All right.
I think it's an overrated technology to be quite honest. And they've got a very, very difficult thing to sort out, and that's the motion sickness. I don't know if you've heard about that, but most VRs you can't really use for a prolonged period of time because you end up with severe motion sickness.
That's just for the people with the weak stomachs.
Yeah.
Ha. Aha.
Yeah.
But we're men here.
They're just training people to go to Mars. So
Yes, that's what it is.
that's all that's going on.
I've spent enough time on a boat. Travis spent enough time on mushrooms that it's not going to affect us.
No, I'm solid.
I've spent enough time in Ohio, so it won't affect me either. Got a strong stomach.
Hell to the yeah. So no, I mean, if somebody like fucking Zuckerberg is investing in this type of technology the way that he is, saying that it's going to be the new thing, I mean,
I still don't believe
who
it.
are we to say that we know better than he does?
The consumers, we the consumers, are the ones that are to say that we know better than he does. He's got this feeling of like grandeur, like he's some sort of premonition, godlike being because he invented the Facebooks. Well, he stole the Facebooks, but
Why not?
that doesn't mean that he's just like this end-all be-all guru. I think Facebook's had some pretty bad flops in its history. Remember when they went public?
Yeah, they made a lot of money.
Yeah, and they lost a lot of
Same thing
money,
what
too.
happened with Twitter, though.
They didn't lose a lot of money. A lot of other people lost a lot of money, but the people at Facebook made a fuck ton of money. But the thing is, all these tech companies, they always want to be on the ground floor of the next big thing, and they always think they know what the next big thing is. If you remember, Microsoft was putting out like Surface tablet style PCs in the early 2000s, and they sucked balls.
Dude, Tim had one that lasted forever.
I know, but it sucked. That's why it lasted forever, because it didn't get enough use to fucking break.
I think where you're going with this is the Motorola Razr. Tiny phones are going to be the next big thing. Sure enough, though, we can start streaming porn on our phones, and the screens get huge.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, the touchscreen thing, it wasn't a major technology or wasn't a major platform until Apple. I mean, depending on your opinion, but whatever, Apple started producing multi-touch.
Till Apple
screens.
and or Motorola.
Yeah. Once Apple put out a multi-touch screen, then everyone else did it too, and it became like a major thing because then it was actually useful. That tablet PC laptop thing that Tim had fucking sucked.
The laptop I'm using has a touch screen on it.
Yeah, but when was it made?
This year? Last year?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't made in 2003.
Oh, definitely not. Those weren't even using the electrical charge. Those were using like a tactile, like a pressure screen, like what they used back in the 90s.
And they were unreliable and they sucked.
Yeah,
But-
they were inaccurate as all get. You had to have giant buttons on it to get anything remotely accurate out of it. But they've had those since the 80s.
Microsoft blew plenty of money trying to push that in the early 2000s, and they lost a bunch of money.
They called it more precise. They made it more precise, but it was technology pioneered in the 80s, I believe.
You're talking about the multi-touch?
No, the regular touch, the old tactile touch response, single touch screens.
But the technology that Apple used for the multi-touch is actually pretty old too. It just took that long to get perfect.
Well, to get it to where it could be used on a consumer level and manufactured at consumer quantities.
Yeah, but how much does the Oculus Rift cost? When's that going to be fucking
$800? $800
I
for
thought
some
it
of the
came
low end
free
models.
with one version of the phone for a little while.
Yeah, but
Verizon
it's cheap.
was running a promotion.
No, that's the
I don't think it was an Oculus Rift though. That was a Samsung VR.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing you slide your phone into. I got one of those for Christmas that my mother-in-law bought at the 99-cent store,
Yeah,
and it doesn't work.
Hey, don't
that
you
great.
start talking shit about Samsung.
I've got my Fallout 4 Pip-Boy that I can put my phone into.
Yeah, I mean, my point is that I don't know. It's not.
That seems kind of cheesy though.
From my experience, it's not ready for consumer consumption. Maybe it will be. Maybe
Let's get usable 3D TVs that we don't need glasses for first, please.
I don't even
the thing
understand
is-
the whole 3D experience. That it sucks. It's not really that much. Unless
The
you're on
ri-
mushrooms or something.
So does VR.
Like just
So-
save it.
the real exciting thing about like that
I know.
Magic Leap shit is you won't even need a TV. You can just tell your system, I want my TV right there and I want it to be 60 inches. And when you look there wearing the glasses, there will be a TV there.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. But, that technology is really complicated and they're working on it.
And it's probably that technology in and of itself is probably never going to be fulfilled or realized to its fullest because investors will back out and, technology won't be, perfectly available for it at the time. I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to that because every time I've seen a really promising technology, something has always come up and kind of crippled it from the inside. So they release it, but they release it half-ass. They promise
that
one
company,
thing and then you get something else.
That company has raised an obscene amount of money and they haven't even released anything yet.
Go to Kickstarter and look at all the failed Kickstarters that raised a shit ton of money.
Yeah, but
Did you see that the coolest cooler
totally
raised
different.
millions? The coolest cooler raised millions in Kickstarter funds. You know what it was? It was a fucking
Yeti.
it was a camping cooler with a radio and a blender built in. Cool.
yeah, you
Hey,
can
man,
buy those at
raised
Costco now.
And it raised millions on Kickstarter though.
Yeah, you can buy those at Costco, and they still haven't even shipped them to all their Kickstarter people.
Exactly. And I just see that sort of technology as being just a little bit, it's almost more believable that we'll be able to get cool implant eyeballs that would do that before we get glasses that would be able to do that.
Well, yeah, if they could do it on a contact lens, that would be cool too.
That'd be pretty dope. And you'd probably need to wear a contact lens with these glasses so you don't end up frying your retinas.
I lost my video screen.
It's all right. I found it.
There it is. Yeah, but I just looked it up. That company's raised like $800 million
Yucky.
at like a $4.5 billion valuation. That's serious money. And supposedly, I read something with something.
You're talking about Oculus Rift?
I'm talking about Magic Leap.
Oh,
And
Max Leaf.
And that company, I read something with some tech writer that went to visit their fucking offices, and he got to try it out, and he said it was pretty rad. He said they had like giant robots that were patrolling their parking lot that obviously weren't actually there, but he said it looked like fucking Transformers.
They raised $50 million in February of 2014, $542 million in October of 2014, and then 793.5 million in February of 2016.
Is that a total or is that in each round?
I think that's in each round.
So then they've raised $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Almost.
Right.
Do you know how much they spent on the original Stellarator? So fusion energy, $70 million.
Yeah, but what year was that in?
To 2008.
Reposition the modem.
So 70 million on the future of clean energy versus cool eyeball projectors.
And you said that was what that they spent 70?
The Stellarator.
What?
The America's Stellarator.
The Stellarator.
It's a form of fusion, so plasma turbine. Basically creates a shit ton of heat. The Stellarator they started in Germany, the W7X, the Windelstein 7X. It successfully fired, and I think they had a budget of about 150 million. And they last year they fired it for a quarter of a second at 800 megakelvin, so like 10 times the temperature of the core of the sun. So they basically proved that it's viable. But
and
for
for a quarter of a second?
For a quarter of a second. We're talking temperatures that, like, if these temperatures were on a slightly bigger scale through the fucking planet.
I know, but how are they going to generate electricity with it?
Well, it's all about energy at this point. So that was just a proof of concept that they could create more energy than they put into it, because to action you need a lot of electricity.
But what are they using as fuel?
The first run that they did for a tenth of a second was helium, and it fired at 1 megakelvin, so couple hundred times the temperature of the surface of the sun. But then they fired hydrogen up, and it was at 800 megakelvin. So 800 million degrees Kelvin.
So how much hydrogen does it take to do that?
That was a teaspoon of hydrogen that they fired for a quarter of a second.
Okay, but that sounds like it's got a long way to go.
It's got about the estimates that they're putting out. Mind you, these are the same people that were smart enough to make this thing work. They're giving estimates of about 6 years before they've got a viable model.
Okay.
And mind you, this is being done on a funding, like a budget that is puny in comparison to eyeball projectors that might not even do anything.
I mean, they could change education, but so I mean,
that's about it.
It's great. Okay, so you can use X amount of hydrogen and generate X amount of energy. But what?
And that energy is the form of heat.
Yeah, I know.
All electricity is created with heat. Imagine the amount of water you could flash steam at 800 million degrees Kelvin.
Yeah. Would it even be controllable?
Even for a quarter of a second, you could flash heat that shit.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You guys talking about the infusion laser?
No, we're talking about fusion energy again because I'm stupid.
No, you're not stupid.
I'm just saying it's not.
It just keeps getting brought up.
I mean, I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. I'm not saying we should stop working on one and have all the resources go to the other.
I'm just pointing out, to me, it just kind of bothers me that we as a species are able to raise that much money for, we won't invest even a quarter of that into the future of clean energy.
Well, where does that come? It comes with the big power companies that have an agenda to keep moving forward. It's the same reason why they didn't like Tesla and Edison doesn't like solar power. They make you pay for that shit now.
This is being done by this is being done by the German government right now.
It's the same reason everyone hates nuclear power plants. Nuclear power plants are clean energy.
Yeah, but they're not clean waste.
There's
whereas
plenty
this
of-
does.
There's
This is
plenty of
clean
ways to
waste.
create energy without nuclear fusion.
Well, this is clean energy on a massive scale without the toxic waste. The only thing it puts off is tritium, which rapidly decays into helium, which we have a shortage of. So,
I mean, it sounds great,
Why
That
isn't
li-
everything solar
like, literally-
powered by now?
but
because solar panels are extremely detrimental to the environment to manufacture.
Well, the technology should be moving forward as to finding a better ways to do that.
Yeah,
and
it
is.
should.
Or wind
It
power.
should.
Or, the waves of the ocean
Wind
are
power is just
constantly
fucking.
moving.
Wind power is ridiculously stupid. Tidal energy is good, but the ocean is more corrosive than you'd ever imagine. And as far as
Pretty big imagination, sir.
I bet you do.
I do.
All's I'm saying is fusion energy would be a way to produce massive amounts of electricity. And if you want your space laser to blast, incoming meteors that are going to destroy the Earth, well, you need
It's been a common topic that we're talking about this. It's not like
you need that amount of energy. You need a massive amount of energy, not just wind turbines or solar panels. You need
crazy,
space laser energy.
a fusion energy laser. If we suddenly discovered that an asteroid or whatever you want to call some big rock has been thrown at us by the space,
by the galaxy,
by the galaxy, by the Nolan Ryans of the cosmos. If they threw something at us, we'd have to deal with it. And how would we deal with that?
We would develop a space laser using fusion energy and cheese sticks.
cheese sticks that I can't get open.
We believe in you.
That makes one of us.
Well, hopefully
I think this
not in our lifetime. Hopefully not in our kids' lifetime. But other than that, they could all fuck
well,
up.
even if it was, we'd know soon.
No, it's a lot. Some of the times they enter our orbit right from the other side of the sun, and we can't see it because
Not our orbit, but there was one that passed between us and the moon like a month ago that we only knew like 4 days before.
we have like 10 days in
Okay,
some
well then,
situations.
we need
there's
to
obviously
we need to massively increase our monitoring of the galaxy, and we need to send humans to Mars.
I mean, it's 360 degrees times 360 degrees. It's a really hard thing to fucking navigate,
And it's really dark.
and it's really far. Hold on. All right, so I have a fucking question for you, Sean, and you know that I asked you this. Alex, I'm curious if you could answer it. So,
Wait, who are you asking?
You.
That was really
I'm
confusing.
asking, actually, Alex, Sean already asked you, and
Oh,
Yeah, see?
I already asked Sean, but he didn't spend that much time on it. So for some reason, I got this crazy idea in my brain on how to figure out a formula of where you stand on the Earth right now as to pop out on the other side of the Earth. Like if you drew a line straight down from where you were, how do you figure out where you would pop out? I wanted to know where fucking Bakersfield would pop out on the other side of the globe.
Didn't I
I was
already
trying to figure it
give
out.
you the answer to this?
Here's the answer. It is the exact opposite latitude and longitude.
Yeah, I said invert the
positive.
latitude and longitude.
Yep. Just
You
positive
said
and
invert
negative.
one of those numbers.
Well, you'd invert both, and you'd positive and negative it. So if it's
Sean,
if
you only
you're
said
at,
invert one of them.
no, you invert both.
I figured
wait,
out
let
that-
me-
I
let me-
actually-
No,
Yeah,
don't-
you would have to invert both. You'd
I
have to
figured out
invert
that it'd
one
be
to
like
get you on
20
the southern
it
hemisphere,
would be
and then you
23,000
invert the
miles
other
away.
to get you on the other side of it.
Wherever you, but then here's another thing to think about. So I found the exact mileage of where it would be. So in theory, you can travel any direction in that 23,000 miles. Say that's the number, and you would end up in the same spot
False.
because
That's entirely
Doesn't matter.
false.
Because
If
that
you
would
travel-
be true if the globe was a sphere, but it's not a sphere.
It's lumpy.
miles traveled.
It's fucking flat.
Oh.
Haven't you been on Facebook lately?
Oh yeah, it's totally flat. No, the Earth is lumpy, but no, if you're traveling different directions. Oh, are you saying for the distance traveled? So as long as you travel that distance? Yeah, because if you did a loop-de-loop, that's more distance you're traveling. But now you're going to stop short of the surface. If you take a right turn, turn exactly at the core of the Earth, you're going to end up somewhere totally different and have traveled the same
What I'm
distance.
saying is that I figured it out if you were to travel around the globe.
I think
figured
what
out
I
the
mean
number.
Okay.
is if you went to a high enough altitude where you weren't going to hit a fucking mountain and you headed west for 23,000 miles, you would end up in the same place.
Yeah.
No,
definitely.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I was trying to figure out a formula that you can calculate for where you would know where you are standing on one part of the globe to figure out where you would pop out if you.
I just told you how. You take precise GPS coordinates and you invert them.
Well, you
Look at a globe.
for me. Can you do it for me?
Yes, give me your GPS coordinates and I'll tell you exactly where your opposite location is. Goodness, sport.
I don't know.
Okay, let me look at the GPS coordinates for Bakersfield, California.
No, do Meadowfield.
Just give them your address on the podcast, Travis. Do it.
No one's coming out for me out here. I can guarantee that. Except for those black helicopters I saw the other night when we were recording. But that's
How
besides
about
the point.
San Jose?
No.
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 Where-
I want
where-
a formula.
Where do you want? No, it isn't a formula. It's literally just invert the GPS. So give me a place to look for here, and I'll tell you where you'll pop out.
There's a
Meadowfields.
75% chance that it's going to be in the middle of the fucking ocean.
I want to
Yeah.
know this though. I want to know. I need to know this.
All
All right.
Go ahead.
I think it's going to be in Bangladesh.
So where am I looking for? Meadowfield
Meadowfield
Airport, Bakersfield. Okay.
Yep. And where would I end up if I decided to dig a hole through the middle of the earth? Or just like I had a big paddle bit and I just kept going? I don't know.
Hell, that's where you'd
It's-
end up.
Struck me one day.
So it would be 35.4 south, 119 east. 35.4 south,
Hey, you might actually hit
9 east.
Indian Ocean.
You are in the middle of the fucking ocean.
No. That's no fun.
Indian Ocean, no?
Let me zoom out here because he's way out there.
Does any part of California end up in
You are literally right off the coast of Perth, Albany, Australia.
What?
Yep. The Great Australian Bight.
And the Barrier Reef
Indian Ocean.
is
You're in the Indian Ocean. You're in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Australia.
well.
Not far off the coast either. Like 20 miles, 40, 30 miles off the coast of Australia. Let's see where I'm
Do you
going to pop
remember
out.
what, Sean, when we were kids, we're like, well, if you keep digging, you're going to go to China. Well, everyone was saying you would end up in China if you kept digging when we were kids.
Well, that was the saying.
Yeah, they were fucking wrong. All right.
Yeah, they were wrong because you'd end up in Australia.
I'm so mad right now.
122.
Everything was a lie. Everything is a fucking lie. But that's a pretty interesting thing. All right, so what about New York? Do New York City. Where's New York if you punch a laser? New York City.
What the fuck? I don't want shopping.
See, I always knew. You know, I always knew they were lying to us.
Man, I think I'd end up off the coast of Australia as well. Just way further off. Yeah. I'm just way further out there.
Wait, where are you? In Ohio?
No.
Yeah, if
Not
you're-
way. Not
He's
way
in California.
further.
It's not going to be that much different if it's in
Oh,
the ocean.
It's not way further. But it is significantly. I'd say I'm like 80 miles, 90, 100 miles off. You're closer to like 20 miles off.
So what you're saying is you're like 60 miles away from Bakersfield right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
Probably hundreds though. I don't know. I can't pull up the scale isn't showing up on the map like it should. So I can't properly scale it.
ask Google for directions.
I doubt it's going to direct me to the middle of the Indian Ocean. I'm not using Apple Maps.
Will you do New York City for me?
Drop the pin.
I was pulling up your...
My New York?
Yeah.
So, speaking of New York City, I saw a video today where they put some...
1 second. I think I botched the coordinates, bud. No, you are closer to Madagascar.
Get right out of freaking town.
Yeah, and then I'm close to Porto Francais by Madagascar
See?
as well.
It's not as easy as you thought it was.
I was pretty damn close. And then Ohio is right off the coast, is a few hundred miles off the coast of Perth. And then New York is a few hundred miles off the coast of Perth as well. So I was off significantly, but not super significantly, just the length of the U.S.
Yeah, just 2,300 miles. No.
Yeah, I've driven that.
Sure. I walked that last week.
If you will go to Venezuela, the commie land of Venezuela and tunnel, though, you'll end up in Singapore. Go to Rio de Janeiro, and if I can find where Rio de Janeiro is, because fuck that. Yeah, let's do Sao Paulo.
Fuck them.
You'll end up closer to Japan.
Huh.
If you dig.
What about Beijing, China? Because I always feel like we were going to end up in China if we tunneled through the middle of the earth.
How about Kazakhstan? Yes, Kazakhstan. No, that's boring. Yeah, let me.
Where are you getting this from?
You said Beijing.
Beijing.
If you were to tunnel from Beijing, you'd end up in central Argentina.
Huh. See, there's the connection right there that we all need to. Yeah.
South
That's
Korea.
what Alex Jones was talking about.
Oh, have you seen the movie The
Chinese,
Fall?
Huh?
I think, was it called The Fall, or was it something else where they could drop straight through the earth on an elevator type deal?
I don't know.
Was that one Elysium? Is that what it was?
Going down.
I've never seen any of these movies.
Elysium
And
was
if you go to Sri Lanka, you'll find the victims of a tsunami. Too soon?
No, I only watch Fox News. They didn't talk about that because those people are not Republicans.
because they're all white racists.
Never forget the Bowling Green massacre.
Jesus Christ. I love how the fucking left in this country can make such a big deal out of one misspoken word.
Yeah.
Are you calling me the left in this country? Because I'm just saying it ironically.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everyone on the fucking internet.
I'm laughing about it because it's just fucking funny.
I just hate the media will flip over this now, and then like no one flipped out when Obama said anything, and then I even hate the comparison over past presidents. I hate that shit too. But for somehow it feels.
Look, you need to stop misunderestimating me. Okay.
Who what? Huh?
That was a Bushism,
Okay.
Branny.
No, I mean it was more than obvious that she meant to say like the Bowling Green incident, and for whatever reason said massacre. Probably because Kellyanne Conway has just about as good public speaking skills as Donald Trump. But I mean, the fucking retardedness in this country has just reached an all-time high.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of retardedness, I figured out how they're making our frogs gay.
How are they doing?
They're doing it in Botswana, and then they've got a tunnel dug through the earth to Honolulu, and then they're flying the gay frogs in from Hawaii with our taro and mangoes.
I thought they were just using chemtrails.
V8.
What?
Is that a TF V8, or is that the Nautilus?
That's the V4.
Oh. Oh shit!
For a second, I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Yeah.
Check out the Stormtrooper, bitch.
No, that's fancy.
Oh, you fancy,
Magnet.
huh?
But you have to build it yourself, right?
Why not?
See, I just over that shit. I did that shit for years. Now I just like to buy a coil.
Don't we all? Oh shit! Fuck. Cacayas.
Shit, fuck.
Cacayas.
Well,
Yeah, I know. I've kind of died off here. Okay, what do you think of the FDA classifying vapes as tobacco products, despite the fact that there is no tobacco in them whatsoever?
We should abolish the FDA.
I say we do that too.
let's get rid of the FDA. Let's get rid of the fucking whoever says that they're in charge of our schools. I don't know if it's a board, if it's a commission, if it's a federal government. Let's get rid of the IRS. Let's end the Fed. Let's end fucking any kind of restriction on any kind of road that I need to drive on. I mean, where do we stop here?
We don't. Get rid of it all.
The movement that we need to have is end rules and regulations in government. And I kind of agree with Alexander when he said...
And on that note, I think everyone who's listening should check out the Logical Anarchy podcast.
Is that your podcast?
No, he's working with them, though.
Because if you want to hear anarcho-capitalism at its finest, that's where you'll hear that.
Please describe for our listeners what anarcho-capitalism is.
Anarcho-capitalism is true anarchy.
And describe it for somebody in France that might know, who speaks broken English.
Describe it in French, goddammit.
Non,
Yeah.
parlez-vous français? Oui, oui, ok. Ménage-toi. Okay, so anarcho-capitalism is essentially, I call it true capitalism using the no true Scotsman fallacy, because it's the only form of capitalism in which every other belief set, the only form of anarchy in which every other belief set of anarchy can fit within it, because it's voluntarism. So in an anarcho-capitalist society, you can have ANCOMs because they decide to have a commune and work together with some fucking hippie shit. Or you can have people like me who love guns, love freedom, love capitalism, who start our own businesses and don't let other people fucking tread on us. It doesn't matter. The only
You know what I can't stand about anarcho-capitalists though? Is the fucking
how
constant
autistic we are.
is the constant competition of who is more anarcho or who is more into
Who is more ANCAP?
anarchy. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
you mean
fucking
You mean within the ANCAP community or within other anarchists? Because if you're getting
within
the argument, if you're going for like the argument between ANCOM and ANCAP, anarcho-communism doesn't exist. It can't, because you need a state to enforce communism.
I understand. It's a fucking logical fallacy. I'm talking about in the ANCAP community. Every time I hear someone talk about the non-aggression principle, I want to punch them in the fucking mouth.
I do believe in non-aggression principles, but
no, I believe in it. But anytime
they treat it like it's a holy book, though.
It's like anytime you say anything, they're like, that violates the NAP. Jesus fucking Christ.
I say this to those Molyneux-ites who think Stefan Molyneux is the end-all be-all of libertarian-esque ideals or anarcho-capitalist ideals. Tattoos are not violating the NAP. Not everything violates the NAP. The NAP is pretty fucking simple. don't tread on me, I don't tread on you. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
That's the NAP.
That's great, and that's how everyone should live their lives. But these motherfuckers on Facebook just all make me want to violate that every time they open their fucking mouths.
Yeah, well, people are what they are, but
It's not cool.
Everyone just has to replace their fucking, like it. At a certain point, it just becomes just as bad as fucking people who worship the government, because it's just like, dude, like think for yourself.
If you worship an ideology, you lose touch of it's. Well, rather, if you worship that ideology, you lose touch of what it's about, which is individualism,
Exactly.
and it's definitely an issue within the community, but it's not as you've made it appear. Or rather, I would say this: I would urge anyone that's at all curious as to what it is to check it out a little bit, get your own opinions on it, and then determine if we're just a bunch of screeching autists.
Well, I think that's the problem with a lot of ideologies that are being followed these days, is that they don't promote critical thinking. They promote victimism and people feeling sorry for one another for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Sometimes we should feel sorry for people, and sometimes we shouldn't. But I don't feel like we're promoting the art of thinking for oneself and actually analyzing a situation for what it's worth, or for what it can be from at least your personal experience, your personal life experience. What you're getting is you have these government officials telling you how to think. You have a CSNBC telling you how to think. Even right wing, you go the other way, Fox News or Breitbart, they're telling you how to think, and you just follow along right with it. You goose step right fucking along, and you can't objectively see things for as it is. You're either right or you're left, or you're somewhere in between. And if it fits your narrative, then you preach along with it. If it doesn't, then most people don't. And that's where I get into conflicts with people on Facebook, is that, well, hey, here's an opposing idea. And then all of a sudden it's I get called names. I get called adjectives, pronouns.
I get called verbs.
Nouns and verbs. And I mean, what? But I mean, it's not every time. I feel like, especially on my page now, people go to it to fucking discuss shit, which is kind of crazy for me. I try and stay out of some of it, but you can't look for your news source or even any website for fucking the ultimate truth. You have to find the ultimate truth for yourself, for what you make of it, and not for what somebody else tells you that it is. Excuse me.
More or less. Yeah, but dude, it's the same thing. Like, if you, like, in principle, you could say I'm an anarchist, but I realize how impractical that is from the current system we have now. Like, you couldn't convince billions of people to switch to that. So if you're going to operate within the system that we have now, and let's say like within existing political parties in the United States, you have the big two, and then you have Libertarians, Green Party, Peace and Love, whatever. Right? So I think by far the Libertarian Party is like the superior of all of them by far. But you know what the problem with the Libertarians are? They can't get out of their own fucking way. It's like, there's
a lot of infighting. I was a huge McAfee advocate because I liked the crazy bastard, and I did in the primaries. I did cast my votes for Vermin Supreme.
Yeah. No, and I mean the Vermin Supreme shit is
he's fun.
It's
not only that, he's fun.
But no, I'm just saying, like,
shit.
Like for instance, like Gary Johnson got 5% in 18 states, and he's not by far the perfect candidate. But is he better than fucking Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Is he better than Hillary Clinton?
Hell yeah.
Is he better than Jill Stein?
Yeah. Yeah.
So. But the Libertarian Party couldn't even fucking rally behind him because, he's not the perfect libertarian. Meanwhile, like Austin Peterson can recite you every libertarian doctrine under the sun, but he sounds like he's reading off a fucking cue card like Marco Rubio.
Well, that and Austin Peterson's a total like numbnuts asshole. So I would have voted for him over Gary Johnson any day, but he's got kind of like that Seth MacFarlane face that I just want to fucking punch.
Yeah, he can be kind of annoying. And especially when he fucking, like, at the libertarian debate or whatever, he was fucking really annoying. But I've seen
More
other
so
interviews, and on his fucking podcast and videos, he's super annoying. But I've seen interviews with him with other people where he, like, wasn't annoying at all. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
And that's the issue of politics is, you get a brushstroke that paints you a bad way, and it can kind of tarnish where you go from there. But hey, I'm gonna have to get off of here. So is there anything you'd like to do in closing with me? I know you two guys probably keep going.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. 2020, Alex, and then Sean answer the question. Who, if you could pick one person that's alive right now to run for president, or if you could even pick someone for president after Donald Trump, who would it be?
Vermin Supreme.
Who's that?
Look him up.
You've never heard of Vermin Supreme?
He's the guy that wears a boot on his head. He was running on the policy.
Mandatory toothbrushing and flossing. Zombie energy using giant hamster wheels with brains on.
And everyone gets a unicorn,
and everyone gets a free pony. It's an equine-based economy.
And he was going to invent a time machine so he can go back and kill baby Hitler.
Yeah, he's going to go back and kill baby Hitler. There's like he's not. No, it's a pony. It's a free pony.
No, I want a unicorn.
Yeah, you can just put a cone on the pony's head. For fuck's sake! Before I go though, would you rather talk like Yoda, or breathe like Darth Vader?
Yoda. Easy.
I could do both.
I'm going with Vader. I think Vader's got that menacing thing going for him.
No, but what if you're sleeping in bed and your significant other's like, shut the fuck up?
Well, here's I'm
trying to sleep. Alex, shut the fuck up! I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, as I sign off, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do my shout outs. To anyone who actually watches this Hodgepodge episode, go ahead and check out the Mercury's Cast pod Twitter and Facebook page. Check out the Logical Anarchy page as well if you get a chance. If any of our libertarian, black and yellow nonsense strikes a chord with you. I think I should be on this Thursday, and it's going to be a very interesting show. So
it's going to be Wednesday.
Is it going to be Wednesday again? Okay, so it'll be Wednesday.
Gonna be super tough. It's going to be tough.
Regardless of whether I'm on, it is going to be a crazy show. So
it's not going to be easy, but you know what? That's what we're here for. I'm actually not looking forward to it. I'm not going to try and take all kinds of notes, but it is what it is. We're going to go at it. So whatever.
So. And on that note, it was a pleasure meeting you, Sean, and you as too. Always, Travis. I look forward to doing this again.
Yeah, man. I'll talk with you soon.
Buenos nachos.
Yep.
Later.
I can hear my nephew in the background.
Yep. He wants me to go upstairs and play with him.
All right, we can
Anyways.
make this a shorty, unless this was just kind of thrown together. I felt like you should meet Alex because it seems like he's going to be around for a little bit. I feel like you guys would vibe, which you guys did, so I think that was cool.
Cool. Well, yeah, let's just cut it, and then I can get the kid to stop screaming. Jackson, I'll be there in a minute.
All right, brother, you can cut out. I'm going to end. I'll close it out.
All right, for sure, man. I'll talk to you soon. All
Yeah, I'll call you. Call me tomorrow or something.
right, for sure.
All right.
Later.
Later. Well, that was fun, huh? And for anyone that didn't see the video, Alex and Sean look a hell of a lot like each other. It would be like if, I mean, even Sean, the way he physically looked 10 years ago, Alex looks like a younger Sean, but maybe not so libertarian. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, the political landscape has changed so much in 10 years that it's hard to even quantify a correlation like that. Anyways, this may have not been the most informational or the most entertaining, but this was a podcast that Mercury's Cast put out. Next week, we have, it's going to be dicey. It's going to be kind of like the last one, maybe a little more confrontational. I think that when we get these tough conversations that we're presented with, that they need to be proceeded a little bit with more caution, maybe a little bit more, not so much interrupting. And, these fires are lit already before we go into this place where we just put all these fires in a furnace and it just creates this, intense heat. So maybe it's kind of up to me to navigate these hot waters that we're going to be navigating, and you guys are my co-pilots. I appreciate the hell out of anyone that listens to this. I don't know why there's so much good content out there to listen to, and if you choose us, then man, that is great. If you went to iTunes and left a review, I think a couple have. I haven't really. It hasn't been enough to pop up on the iTunes radar yet. So if you can go and do that for us, that would be great. And the conversation with Jason and Jordan on the last episode, race relations, it's heavy stuff, man. And not a lot of people, everyone likes to have their bubble on their show. No one likes to step outside of their comfort zone. That's exactly what I don't want to do on this one. I try to consider myself a open-minded person when presented with other information. I try to, mold my thinking to that. I'm not set, like my thoughts are not set in concrete. At least I tried to think that they're not. Again, some other people would probably tell me that they are. And maybe they're right. I would like to be proven wrong in some things, but coming up, we are going to have these difficult conversations that a lot of people would rather have behind the comfort of their keyboard and not face to face, where the progress happens, right? Staying behind your keyboard and talking about these issues does not help anything, because most of the time people leave worse off. They're feeling about a situation. If you have somebody that opposes your idea and they enter your thread or a Facebook post, and then you guys go back and forth, 2 hours later, agree to disagree, you're not leaving that Facebook thread with the best of feelings. Like, oh, just no one leaves feeling good about a conversation off a Facebook thread. I'm sorry. Especially opposing ideas, unless you're ball washing each other, which a lot of Facebook pages are even like that. I've been on random ass Facebook pages where I've had people tell me to just leave. Like, why are you here? And I'm like, well, you said something that I don't agree with. So I fucking responded to it. And then they're asking me why I'm here. Okay? It's social media. We're supposed to be able to be social and relate with each other. Except for when we don't relate, then you don't like it. Or now I get thrown into these categories, which I don't feel like that I belong. But you wouldn't know that because you don't know how I talk. You don't know how I treat other people. All you see is the words that I type, and sometimes they're very fucking simple because that's how I try and keep it for people to try and understand where I'm coming from. But even the simplest of words, the simplest sentences seem like I'm being sarcastic or that I'm being like something else that I'm not. Or that they take exactly what I'm saying and they say that, well, then that means you're this. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think that once you start putting labels on people, you start putting people on lists, you start putting people in categories, you start labeling the white man is this and the black man is that. And then that is why this is the way that it is. And you should not be that because they did this. And it's like, and the other one that I'm getting right now, which is crazy to me, which we're going to get into next week. Well, Britain did this 400 years ago. Americans did this 200 years ago to the Mexicans. And then slavery, that's a different thing. But, Britain colonized half of the world, but so did Genghis Khan and Napoleon. And since we did that, we should no longer have any say about immigrants coming into the country that started all this. That ended up being Britain is no longer half the world, but they're this other piece of land, and they're no longer allowed to have sovereignty because they conquered half the world. I don't know. We're going to get into it next week. Andre Parnell's coming on. I'm sure Alex is going to be on, and we're going to, we probably got a couple people waiting in line for that fourth spot for the fourth one. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. I'm going to keep continuing these difficult conversations that nobody wants to have. And because I have access to different people, because I've been pretty much a relatable person throughout my whole entire life, and I've lived in different places, Southern California, Orange County. I know people from all different kind of walks of life, and even people that I meet on Facebook. I want to get everyone together. Let's figure this shit out. Let's not do it on a Facebook thread because I don't feel like that does anyone any favors. We don't get anywhere doing that. I feel like our last conversation, everyone left feeling great, and we got some shit. You know what? Black people got some shit to say, and I want to hear it. And they might feel better after they say it. Let's hear what they got to say. I'm all ears. I'm an open book. I want to hear what people have to say. I want to hear the gripes, because that's the only way that we're going to have any social progress in this country. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be the one to do it, but I'm just saying that the way that we're doing it now is not working. So here we go. We have to face, accountability. And that's another thing that's lacking in these Facebook threads is accountability. I'm willing to be accountable for anything that I say. I'm right here. I'll back it up. And if you prove me wrong, and you have enough information to prove me wrong, hey, I'm going to flip-flop. I think that it's great when people flip-flop. You're not stuck in your ways. You don't have a linear way of thinking. You can think outside the box. I want to be that person. Maybe I'm not always that person, but I'm trying. Okay. So this has been Mercury's Cast. Kind of a free topic Friday, and next week we got some shit we're going to be throwing it at. Step your game up. Shout out to my wife for putting it.